I'm your home chef with Lower Blood Pressure Foods. My name is Rick Henderson, and today we're going to make a breakfast sandwich. Now this breakfast sandwich is made with a hamburger patty and an egg and Tuscan bread. It's going to be very, very low in sodium, but for many of you who don't know, Tuscan bread has no salt in it in the preparation. You can go on my website and you can see a link on how to make Tuscan bread. It's really, really, really easy. Also, many of you may not know, but hamburger comes pre-seasoned. If you look in your grocery store, there might be a sign up there that says how much sodium is in each serving of meat. And you'll find that in hamburgers, usually about 70 milligrams of sodium per serving, already incorporated into your meat for flavor. All right, so let's get at it. Breakfast sandwich. So we have our 2 pounds of hamburger, approximately, whatever you get at the grocery store. This is 73.25, we want a little bit fattier. 2 eggs. The trays come good for collecting all your excess things. Make sure there's no shells in there. And then what I do is I beat the eggs right there on the edge of the bowl. Break the hamburger into it as I beat it. And we're not going to season these too much. But first we're going to get them all coated with egg mixture, because this is going to be the binding agent as we cook these babies up. You know, it's breakfast, so unlike dinner where you have a lot of steaky food with big, strong, bold flavors, we don't want to be heading over to our co-worker's office with hello breath because we had something powerful in the morning. So we have just under half a tablespoon of garlic and pepper, almost equal parts. Now, if you like a little bit less pepper, don't put so much. If you want a little less garlic, put a little less garlic in. But remember, as I said before, it's already been seasoned with salt, so it has sodium in it. You don't just dump it in, lightly sprinkle it around so that it's kind of mixed. We don't want to have that one bite and go, wow, that was strong, which we've all done before. All right, so we mix that in, get it nice and incorporated. Take your baking sheet, line it with plastic wrap, okay? Kind of evenly if you can. If not, don't worry about it. Spread your hamburger mixture. Remember, I'm right-handed, so this is kind of awkward for me. Okay, and then just spread it out. I know you're probably looking at me going, how the heck is that going to turn into a sandwich thing? Okay. Real simple. Pull this up. Oh, it's starting to look a little more like something's happening here, right? Just smooth it into the corners, because you don't want to be that person who gets only 2/3 of a patty, right? And then what I do is, because it's covered, I use my rolling pin. Just will help me have a nice, smooth finish. Look kind of professionally done. I'm a big fan of hamburger patties that are square. All my life, and probably yours too, we've all eaten round hamburger patties, and then every once in a while we get a square one. Yeah, you guys know who you are, right? There's a whole chain built on square patties. All right. One of the most useful tools that you could have in the kitchen is one of these. When I make doughs or pastas, I can scrape that dried on pasta or flour and get my counter nice and clean. But it's also good for, ta-da! Why would I want to do this? We're actually going to put these in the freezer to set before we cook them. It just really helps. We'll put them in there for 20 minutes, and that'll help keep them together until they're cooked. All right, so let's get to some cooking. We're going to take a pat of butter and put it in our preheated pan. Let that melt a little bit. Now what I have here, these are some sweet poblano hash browns. You could look on my website or you could go to my YouTube channel and you can find out how I made these. But they got honey, they have poblanos in there, and this is some pretty tasty stuff. And as you know, potatoes are really good for people with high blood pressure because of all that potassium. But if you buy them in the store, they have a ton of sodium in them. So we're just going to crisp these up on the outside. Give it a little swirl. Make sure the bottoms are all coated. All right. This is Tuscan bread. This is going to be the base of our sandwich. Tuscan bread is unique in that it doesn't have any salt in it. It's really, really easy to make. And again, on our website, we have that recipe and you can watch a video of how to make it. Look how nice that looks. See all the bubbles in there? That's what we want. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut 6 slices. There's 3 sandwiches I'm making. You don't want them too thin. Well, some of the sandwich eaters in our house they really like their carbohydrates, so some of them will be. Let's see, 2, 4. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to lightly butter them, and we're going to put them in my square pan. I've always wanted a square pan. As you know, with me, squares is something that I just can't help myself with. Right, just a nice little pat of butter. In it goes. Nice little pat of butter. So I want them crisp on the outside and soft on the inside. You start to hear that little bit of sizzle happen. So not quite grilled cheeses, yeah, some people like it a little bit thinner. Not me though. That's the beauty of being the cook, right? When you're the cook, you get to determine who gets what. At least in my family, that's how it works. If you have a complaint, don't tell the chef because he doesn't really want to hear it. All right, and the last one. So we got those cooking, and then we're going to pull the meat patties out of the freezer. They've been in there about 15-20 minutes. They're not frozen, but they've firmed up really, really well. So once the toast is done, we'll remove it to our cooling tray, and then we can start cooking our patties. So you know, some people cook by time. They follow a recipe to the exact science. Some people cook with their nose. I know when I'm cooking for my mother at her place when I go to visit her up in Canada, she can tell when it's almost ready. But I can smell that my hash browns need to be turned. So we're going to give those a nice turn. You can see, you can't see it, but let me show you here. You can see some of the little bubbly action that's happening on the top. That's exactly what we want. And these are my pieces of bread. If you turn them over, see those nice? I just want it light and crisp. I don't want too many lines. I don't want it too dark. All right, so we can take those, get them off. Some people like theirs really, really crunchy. I just want a little bit of texture on my Tuscan bread. So we got the hamburger patties, right? For our breakfast sandwiches. The reason why we keep them in plastic is because now I can fold them and they're going to come apart nicely. You can see some of that peppery in there. There's garlic in there. There's a whole lot of flavor packed in these patties. And they're square. They're a little bit bigger than the bread right now, but remember 25% of this, 27% is fat. So they are going to shrink. Easy, right? This is is why you put them in the freezer for just a couple of minutes. Not to freeze them, just so that they stay together as you transfer them to the cooking dish. We'll let those cook for a while. We'll get our eggs on in a bit, and then we got some sliced cheese to make them ooey gooey. So these are bubbling really, really nicely. We're going to get our hash browns off. They've been heated nicely through. Just going to stick them on a plate and cover them with foil. Oop, I almost dropped one. We'll just keep these with some decent heat inside them. Next, we're going to take our patties. See the nice little grill marks on it? They're just about 60% cooked. And we'll let those keep doing their thing. You see how they're starting to shrink? We're starting to get some moisture in here. That's a good sign that they're cooking all the way through. So we got our eggs going, okay? We got our pan. Now some people clean all the stuff out. You could take simple paper towel, give it a swipe, careful on your fingers. I'm going to break some eggs in here. It's almost time to wake up the breakfast crew. I know exactly what you're thinking. Are we going to end up with some egg porn going on later? You know it's going to happen. All right, so we're going to let those continue to cook. We have our cheese. Because who doesn't like melted cheese? Yes, it's a square thing. I can't help it. Squares, rectangles. Yep, that's me. And we'll just let those cook. All right, plating time. So we're going to keep this real simple. We're just going to take our patty with the melted cheese on it. You can use any type of cheese you want. This is just a simple white aged cheddar. Okay. Put those on there. We have our egg. Remember, I'm right-handed. I like to tilt the pan towards the spatula. Ooh, snap. Now this one's mine because I like mustard. Huge, I know, circles and mustards, right? Put that on there. We'll assemble. We have our spicy, sweet hash brown. They each get one. This allows me to put a third one because I have to do my own dishes. I don't know if you heard, but I fired my partner, wife in crime, from the dishes, and that just means that I have to do it all now. All right. Put that on there. See the nice char marks? Ladies and gentlemen, there is your breakfast sandwich with spicy grain mustard and a sweet poblano hash brown.